is that the Princess of Wales and the Duchess of Sussex are attempting to reconcile. The brothers are attempting to reconcile
Absolutely
Harry
untrue.
with the father.
I don't. Absolutely untrue.
I really hope that what I've read...
I'm told Prince William would literally rather shoot himself.
Honestly, I hope that what I've read is true, because it's important.
No,
you are seeing a decline in the status of the monarchy.
Together
is stronger. Together is stronger.
Over my dead body. I'm told that is the verdict of Prince William to the idea of any type of reconciliation with his brother, Prince Harry, his increasingly desperate, his increasingly deluded brother, Prince Harry. And it's not just my reporting that suggests William is 100% opposed to any type of rapprochement with his dastardly brother, not to mention, by the way, the woman who caused all the issues in the first place, Meghan Markle. We're going to get the verdict of Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, in just one moment. But first, let's take a look at Piers Morgan's scathing verdict.
This is a delusional, treacherous, bitter little man who's completely lost touch with all reality, a multi-millionaire who's raked in a fortune by regularly abusing his family and regurgitating private stories in books and TV shows, while simultaneously lecturing the rest of us about not invading privacy. It's quite extraordinary, isn't it, that he should expect us to pay for him to live as a celebrity. In a half-hearted appeal to the sympathy vote, he said he would like to reconcile with his father before crudely and shockingly speculating on his father's battle with cancer.
Now, remember, Piers Morgan, as we know, speaks directly to Queen Camilla and Princess Beatrice and Eugenie. This was his take on William's response to the idea of some sort of make-up with his little bro.
Is that the Princess of Wales and the Duchess of Sussex are attempting to reconcile. The brothers are attempting to reconcile
Absolutely
Harry
untrue.
with the father.
Absolutely untrue.
I really hope that what I've
I'm told
read...
Prince William would literally rather shoot himself.
I hope that what I've read is true, because it's important. You are seeing a decline in the status of the monarchy. Together is stronger. Together is stronger.
Angela Levin, I'm hearing over my dead body. Piers Morgan is hearing that William would rather shoot himself. What's your take on all of this?
Well, I mean, Harry has been absolutely revolting, hasn't he?
Yep.
That's not the way to behave. But it's also so mixed up. One sentence is saying, you know, I will forgive them. Even that's sort of pretty ghastly, but I will forgive them. I want to be there. I want to make it all right. And the next, he's suggesting what absolutely the king and the rest of the royals don't want, that he will come and talk and sell everything off to somebody to earn some money of whatever they said, particularly with his father's illness of cancer. You have to be very careful who you discuss it with. And it's obvious that he doesn't want to say exactly what type it is, and we must abide by that. But Harry wants to, I think it all goes back to Meghan, who wants to destroy the royal family. And whatever he says, whatever he tries to do, it's got to have this part that is going to kill it off. He says he's going to stay with the Prime Minister and with the and try and get him to sort of change things so that he can change the law. Having spent week after week and now being responsible for paying £1.5 million for all the people who've been speaking on his behalf or not speaking on his behalf. So it's just the most biggest nasty mess. And actually what really has made lots of people feel sick is his way of saying, well, my father, I don't know how long he's going to live.
Well, yes, actually, let's take a look at the moment that he said exactly that, and then you'll see how Piers Morgan responds.
How much longer my father has. You know, he won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile.
You think that's the only reason he doesn't want to talk to you, Harry? It's not that you trashed him, his wife, your brother, your brother's wife, everybody else, calling them all a bunch of callous racists. Think that might have played some part in why none of them want to talk to you or trust you as far as they can throw you? Now, obviously, if Harry did want to reconcile with his father, then perhaps he wouldn't be repeatedly attacking him on TV. The fact is that he and Meghan have become a waning brand of vanishingly limited interest to the American or the British public. Their only currency that works is to peddle very unpleasant stuff about the family and monarchy that they abandoned and are now apparently on a mission to destroy. Now, the king can end this feud, Harry's right, but not by shaking hands with this treacherous little weasel, but by stripping him and his wife of the royal titles that they love to use for commercial gain without doing any of the work that comes with being a working royal in this country. And we saw that, of course, as the VE Day celebrations happened this week. That's what a real royal does. They don't lounge in a California mansion spending the ill-gotten gains they make from trashing their family.
And Angela, I think there is this increasing pressure coming down on the king to just say enough is enough. I mean, remember, Angela, in this interview, Harry comes very close. I mean, I would actually argue that he does clearly suggest that the royal family was trying to kill him. It's out of control.
Yes, that is completely out of control. And that was the feeling that because they won't give him the bodyguards who have got guns, therefore they want to kill him. But there's a whole list of people that you can go to who are very good. And even if he doesn't get to those, if he's coming for a special reason to see his father or to be involved in something royal, then he will automatically get very good, very high rating, protection. But actually, for somebody who wants to do nothing towards the royal family, won't actually help out with anything, why on earth does he think he deserves this? He says because he wants to bring his children, but that's not an answer. The children couldn't care less because they don't know anything about it. Meghan says she's never going to come, but you see, if she got 24/7 protection, she'd be there and she'd be taking as much information as she could, which she would then offer it to Netflix. You see, you can't trust them, what they're doing. That's why people can't talk to them. I remember that Princess Anne said something, I think it was after Prince Philip's death, and she said, the only thing we can talk about, Harry, now is the weather. And I think that's actually quite right. So it's been going on for years, and he won't absolutely accept it or understand it or make some sort of offer. He can't just say, well, I think I will forgive them now, and not want to apologise himself. He's got masses to apologise, masses and masses. And Meghan, of course, won't let him because her attitude is extraordinary. If anybody's trying to kill the royal family, it's her. The royal family is not trying to kill him.
And especially given the stress she put the late Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip under. In this latest episode of Piers Morgan Uncensored, Angela, he's also gone back a little bit, but it really is worth listening to because remember he lost his job at ITV's Good Morning Britain for claiming that Meghan Markle was lying in her Oprah Winfrey interview, something that we both believe and have been able to prove over the years that she most certainly was. Well, Piers now thinks he can deliver the proof that Meghan and Harry both lied to Oprah. Watch this.
Those are your words.
Okay.
And Prince Harry very clearly said those were not the words that he used to describe.
No, he later blamed the media.
He heard.
Let me just remind you what they told Oprah Winfrey. She said that she was suicidal and that when she went to somebody senior at the palace to ask for help, she was told she couldn't get any. I didn't believe it at the time. It never appeared in Harry's book. She's never repeated it. There has never been any shred of evidence to support that story whatsoever. One. Secondly, we now know from Omid Rabies, whatever his name is, that arse-licking little bird that does whatever they tell him to do, from a book that appeared in Holland, and I was the one that revealed this, that he reported that the two royals who Meghan Markle claimed had been racist about the skin colour of her baby even before it was born. Well, hang on.
Harry had raised in conversation
that they had raised
with Meghan Sussex.
That she wanted us to believe, and told the world via Oprah, that they had raised concerns about the skin colour of her unborn baby. In what world do you think it is likely that Catherine or Charles ever espoused a single racist undertone to any comment about the birth of their unborn child? And again, Paula, it never appeared in his book. He never repeated it again, and nor did she. And in fact, he then said later, oh, no, it was the media that said it was racist, not me, Gov.
And Angela, why this matters so much is that this was the red line. It's like Prince Harry can go on to the British Bashing Corporation, the BBC, and say, I want a reconciliation. But I'm sorry, until you apologise, until you admit that you lied, until you admit that Charles and Catherine did not make a racist comment, there is no going back. And I do not blame William one bit for his position, because it was made abundantly clear to Harry before the publication of Spare, before the Netflix series, that if he wanted any way back, he had to be careful in certain areas. And not only was he just not careful, Angela, he actually went so far.
Yeah, well, that book is absolutely repulsive, isn't it? But I have said time after time, I don't understand why all these ghastly things are in it. If he felt that he wanted to make amends in the future, I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to do. But I wondered who encouraged him to do that? Who encouraged him to say that he'd killed 20 people in Afghanistan? Who will tell him that he has done all sorts of difficult and horrible things and then pretended that they're not there? I can't understand it. I thought maybe the person who read the book for the publisher, maybe the lawyer who always makes sure that you haven't got things that will go to court. None of that seems to have said, look out, mate, don't you think you ought to be very careful about that, especially saying how many people you've killed in the army. It won't help you. But I can't imagine that Harry said yes, and I want to take it out. And I can't imagine that he said nothing about it. I mean, it's just a very peculiar position that he's in, but he's lost both ways. And I think you can never forget that. And he doesn't want to go backwards. He and Meghan pretend there's no backwards. They start again, which is why he keeps going back to court, because he never listens to what they say, that you can't do this. And he still says, yes, I can. And he keeps on and on and on and on, because in the end, he hopes that they give in. But it's a ridiculous way to behave, and so spiteful and nasty. And why don't they? If they hate the royal family, they can't bear anything about it. Go and have a lovely time in America. Do what you like. Shut up. Just get on with what you want to do. Never mind about showing your children. Just get on with it. You can have a lovely time. But actually, this horrible, nasty, spiteful, awful part of them is just pouring out now. They just really seem to be going ahead with this because they really want to try. It's a time when they really want to try non-stop to make everything fall. And they've taken advantage of the illness, and they take advantage of the ages of the royal family. And it stinks terribly, doesn't it?
You know how often I talk about the need for free speech to be protected. Well, I've been increasingly thinking of the need for personal protection from snoopers, bad actors, and hackers online. And I'm delighted to tell you, I've now found the fail-safe solution. But what's more, this VPN, or virtual private network, to use the full term, the sort of jingo, is also a life changer when it comes to providing you entertainment and information from anywhere in the world, wherever you are. So let me introduce you to Surfshark. This is an incredible and easy to use service that I use every day to encrypt my internet traffic, which means my online activities stay safe. So you can shop, you can stream, you can browse, you conduct your banking online in complete privacy. But the benefits of Surfshark go way beyond keeping you safe online. This is what I really love. You can access your favorite entertainment and news shows and channels from streaming services like Hulu, iPlayer, HBO Max, Peacock, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, wherever you want, as if you're watching in another country. And you can do so within seconds. Really handy, by the way, if you're traveling for work or on holiday, because you can get all your favorite content from home, including sports, without having to deal with any sort of geo-blocking, which can be so annoying. This is an insurance policy too against creeping censorship in so many countries that we talk about on this show all the time. But just one example, France has blocked Rumble. You can't watch Outspoken on Rumble if you're in France. Well, you can if you have Surfshark. A VPN can also save you money too, because you can get the best deals from websites that change their prices depending on where you're buying from. Loads of other benefits too. Surfshark can be used on unlimited devices, meaning your entire household can stay safe with just one subscription. They have over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries with a world of choice at your fingertips. By the way, don't worry if this is your first time using a VPN. It's super easy, really, really easy. But if you do have any issues, there is 24/7 customer service. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. You can just click on the link in the description box below. What's more, Surfshark's so confident it's the best VPN in the world that you can try it. This is amazing. For a full 30 days, if you're not entirely satisfied, you will get your money back. So surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. But now, back to the show. I also love the fact that Piers just knows how to burst all of Meghan's bubbles, right? And he does so quite spectacularly because remember, he knew her. Meghan Markle was desperate to be BFFs with Piers Morgan, or maybe even more, who knows? Desperate for that before she met Harry. And in this little moment, Angela, Piers reveals the real Meghan Markle. And it's nothing like the Earth Mother that she tries to portray on Jamie Kern-Lima's podcast.
I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. This is all fake, right? She was a real hard-nosed LA girl, right, who was on the fast track. Yeah. Now she's like this, oh, I'm soft, I'm mummy, I'm this. It's all bullshit.
It's true. There's nothing soft about her. She's as ruthless and Californian as you can get.
Yes, I agree. She's, I don't think you can actually feel sorry or compassion for anyone like that. She is absolutely revolting. I think she's terrible. And what upset me terribly was her saying, to Jamie Kern-Lima, where she had this podcast, that I've never been happier. I've never been happier. With a very soft voice and touching her face, which she did a great deal. And you think, what sort of human being are you? You look at your husband and he's in a desperate state. He doesn't know what he's saying, how he's saying it. He's a very, very ill man. And you think you've never been happier. I mean, what's the matter with you?
Totally. Now, Angela, because it was VE Day, or just for people outside of the United Kingdom to explain, it was the bank holiday yesterday. So everyone was off work in the United Kingdom, and that's why there was this incredible celebration for VE Day where we saw all of the royals. But what it also meant is that there's been a lot of political heat on Prince Harry because his comments, which have reverberated all weekend, especially in regards to the King's health, unfortunately did take some shine off what was a wonderful day. And Nigel Farage, during the fly past and the balcony appearance on GB News, was extremely critical of Prince Harry. He is, of course, the favourite at the moment to become the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, which makes this very interesting. Angela, listen.
And Nigel, good to see the King so well. Or apparently so well.
It's good to see the King here.
Yeah.
I understand the treatment he's undergoing is pretty intense.
Yeah, sure, that's right.
He's putting a very, very brave face on it. And it was why the comments from his youngest son the other day were so inappropriate.
Gross.
So inappropriate. Unnecessary.
And why?
And the King had spoken last week.
Yeah.
Quite movingly.
He did.
About what it was like to have cancer, to have serious cancer.
Yes.
To say, look, you know, it happens to me, it happens to you.
Prince or pauper.
And I thought, yeah, absolutely. And I thought that that was, of all the things that Harry said, that was the one that I thought was the most upsetting.
It's another sign why the King and his other son, can never trust Harry.
Never.
Ever again.
No, there's no conversation they can ever have with him.
Because it'll be on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, Angela, that is, I mean, again, for people outside of the United Kingdom, politicians don't usually like to get involved in the business of the royal family, the personal business, but that is extremely tough criticism from Nigel Farage, potentially the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Oh, good for him, actually. I think that he was quite right to do that. I think when things get to a certain level, you have to forget about what job you've got and what you've really, got to say, and actually speak from your heart. And actually to respect the King is very important. Even if he doesn't follow the monarchy. I mean, it's just common sense that you do pay respect to the people who are in our monarchy, and we want to thank them. And it was very lovely because you could feel British and everything was going right, and that we are the country that makes wonderful efforts to make celebrations for these things. 80 years is a long time, and it's wonderful that they can do it, that the soldiers will march, and there'll be wonderful things and beautiful people sitting there looking at the sky to see the planes. And there's something very, very special about it, I think, that we do very, very well.
We do, and I want to look, Angela, actually, in just one moment at some of the incredible highlights of the day. Stand by for this, by the way. You won't be surprised to know Prince Louis stole the show. But just before we get there, more fascinating political analysis from, again, one of the sharpest British brains, Douglas Murray, in regards to Prince Harry. And he's on Sky News Australia with Rita Panahi, very, very good broadcaster, who also has some real insight into how it's just Meghan he's listening to now. It's just Meghan, and my God, he has derailed everything. Listen to this fascinating conversation, Angela.
Now, when he says that members of his family don't want to take his calls, I mean, it's very hard to know whether he realizes why that might be. Because the reason it might be is that whenever any member of his family speaks to him, they might find what they said either written up in another book or relayed in interviews with the BBC and other channels. So, it's a very peculiar thing that's going on in Prince Harry's head, and I feel very sorry for him if he can't grasp this. If people around you know that you're likely to run and broadcast what they say in private to the world, then they might be reticent in speaking to you. And the way to mend that isn't to go on television and relay the fact that they're not speaking to you at the moment. I mean, if he said, I want to reconcile with my father and I'll do anything it requires, but I think it should be done away from the cameras and without any spare volume 2s or anything like that, and there'll be no cooking shows involved. It's just a family matter. If he did that, maybe he could actually make this reunion that he wants. But this is the worst way to go about it. I can't imagine who is actually advising Prince Harry other than possibly for his wife, because I think only she could give him PR advice this bad.
It's true.
I think it is Meghan. I mean, this is straight from her playbook, it seems, to go to the media, to whine about something that is just going to make that problem far worse, and is now claiming that they never claimed the royal family or any members of it were racist. I mean, they're trying to completely rewrite history. And
of course it is, Angela. Of course it is. No one else is giving this terrible advice. It's only Meghan.
Yeah. Well, Meghan won't take any advice because she thinks she knows better than anyone else. And Harry agrees that she does know better than anyone else. So he only listens to her. He won't take any advice from anyone else. So therefore, he's in this terrible, dark den where she wants to destroy. I don't know how much she wants to destroy him because she now could get lots of money. That's a terrible thing to say, but I can't understand why it's going ahead like this. That a wife, a woman would ever behave in that disgusting way. Why are you so negative? Why do you go on and on at somebody who is falling to pieces? I'm not saying it's just her fault, but he just listens to her and he shouldn't be.
Of course he shouldn't be. Now, Angela, oh my goodness, can we just look at some of these brilliant moments from VE Day yesterday? Because, wow, this was probably the most significant, wasn't it? Prince George in his first official engagement. Now, you know, Catherine and William have been so careful not to put George out too soon. But it's utterly brilliant that they decided yesterday was the day to do it, Angela, because, of course, this is going to be the last opportunity. I mean, I hate even saying this, but we're losing the greatest generation. Angela, we're losing them. These are the most incredible human beings, you know, but at the next major anniversary, it's very unlikely there will be any of the veterans there. So this was an opportunity for George to get to see them himself. And it was a really special moment. Just before I get your reaction, Angela, let's have a look at the report of George's first official engagement alongside his father and his grandfather, 3 generations. It's brilliant.
For us to have you all here.
And at Buckingham Palace, veterans were the star guests, as the royal family hosted them for tea and cake. Prince George joined his father and grandfather. Most of those he spoke to were around 90 years older than him.
It's been wonderful, yeah. And I feel they put such a lovely show on for the ones who didn't come back.
I do think it's so important that we remember, you know, what has happened and the people that gave their lives in the war, because the younger generation don't all know about the times we went through.
Days like today are also a reminder of time passing and of how the number of veterans are dwindling each year. They make commemorations on this scale so important. For those who were there and for those who have promised to never forget their sacrifice.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And what I think is really nice is that their timing. It was such a good idea, as you said, to get George involved. And I wondered whether they planned it for a while, that because William would take him to football, he always introduced him to somebody. They always had a little bit of conversation. And so he could get less and less shy, so that when such an important event came for him, he could handle it. And he asked a few questions. He said he found out that one of the veterans was over 100. And he said, how was it for you when you went up? So he answered that question. And so he said again, oh my goodness, you know, to have a boy like that to ask a very good question and to be fascinated by the answer, you know that you've got a bullseye, that he's actually ready to say that. And I think he was very interested, you know, boys with the flights, with the aeroplanes and fighting. And he was very, very interested in that. And it was lovely. It was absolutely lovely because he leant over to listen. You know, he didn't sort of go back, no, not for me. This is very scary. And you see how kind They are, everybody is so kind, and the looks that the family give each other. Catherine looked lovely. Everybody was there to be pleased. Look at Catherine smiling at him like that.
She was so proud. She was so proud, and
yes.
William was looking after him. It was lovely. But Angela, please, can we come to Prince Louis though? Because yet again, he did steal the show. And I think it was this one moment, and I have to feel sorry for Prince George. I mean, if looks could kill. So you see there, Angela, it's a little bit windy. He gets his hair back, and then Louis mocks him. And God, you should see the look afterwards that George gives him. It was so brilliant. But Angela, the Sun newspaper, this was very clever, I thought, if a little bit naughty, decided to get a lip reader in to look at the interaction between Prince William and Louis. It's very sweet. Watch this.
A lip reader has revealed what cheeky Louis asked his dad during the VE Day parade today. The youngster was spotted affectionately brushing raindrops off his father's shoulder. Prince William turned to his son and appeared to give him a tap on the leg. Lip reading expert Nicola Hicklin revealed to the Sun that William told Louis, "Look at this, I think it's going to be quite wet today." Louis then said to William, "Wasn't this supposed to be fun?" And his dad replied, "It is, son." The dad of three also said, "You will never forget this," before explaining how the parade will work. He said, "They will come along here and then go towards there, and then we will make our way back." He added, "It's not going to be long, and I want you to be taking an interest."
Such a good dad, Angela.
Yes, you can see he absolutely adores them. And where they were all doing different things, Charlotte was standing there beautifully, almost like a ballet dancer. I know she likes doing ballet, and thinking, leave it all to me. She wasn't looking around. It wasn't superior, but she thought, I can handle anything that's going on here, even if I'm not interested in planes. This is very important to behave in the right manner. I mean, she's gorgeous too. I mean, they are the most delightful family.
They are,
Brought
and it was
up
just
so brilliantly well.
Lovely. It was absolutely lovely. Also absolutely lovely, by the way, and I would be very grateful if you sign up to my Substack, www.outspoken.live. That is the way to get the first access to my Royal Uncancelled after show every weekday, but also protect me from big tech cancellation, have direct communication, www.outspoken.live. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.